Jackie from Jackie Jones Coaching and Psychotherapy, and I just wanted to talk a little bit. I've been asked a question, and I'm going to explore it the best way that I can. And it's about why our mood changes, why some days can something happen that triggers a response from me and I react to it and I'm kind of in a bad mood, and why can the same thing happen on another day and yet it doesn't bother me. And I thought it was a really good question to ask, so thank you to the person that asked me the question. But it's kind of connected with something that I've been doing in the membership club this week, where I'm looking at Michael Neill's super coaching book and we're discussing all the different things in that. So I thought I'd just share a little bit of what he says and then maybe elaborate on my take on it and what I think. So Michael Neill said in his book that there's no such thing as a bad day. Your day doesn't create your mood creates your day. And I thought that was quite profound. And when your mood is low, the world looks bleak. When your mood is high, you feel as if you can take over the world. So to me, that's talking about our state of mind. And I talk an awful lot in all my Facebook pages, all my membership clubs, everything that I do. I talk about our state of mind fluctuates. In fact, 2 years ago, I used to have a radio show on Chorley FM, which was made famous by Peter Kay. I think the slogan he came up with was Chorley FM coming in your ears, which was quite novel. Chorley FM does not exist anymore. It was nothing to do with me starting to work there. But I used to have a Saturday afternoon radio slot between 12 noon and 3 o'clock in the afternoon. And I called it State of Mind with Jackie Jones, because it just really resonated with me that our mood shifts and changes. So I think that's why when Michael Neill talks about our thoughts and feelings and how they can, ebb and flow, and that to me is part of being a human being. So when your mood is high, your partner is the most wonderful person in the world. And when your mood is low, they're a complete bar steward. Let's put it that way. He says it a different way, but I thought I would be polite. And with the membership group, I've related this to, and I'm sure I've said it on this as well, that my son is 17 this year, my youngest, which is quite shocking. But he has a time that he's supposed to go to bed. He knows what time he's supposed to go to bed. But, sometimes he's just trying to kill time. He's trying to stop up later, and he becomes the world's best philosopher, talking about, the meaning of life and why can we not count snowflakes, whatever it is that he comes up with. But it's just a delaying tactic. And sometimes I get drawn into it. Sometimes we have some really deep and meaningful conversations when it's time for him to go to bed. And it really doesn't bother me. And then other days, he will start talking to me and I'm like, oh, for goodness sake, come on, it's time to go to bed. You do this all the time. Why are you doing it now? I've had a long day. I'm tired and blah, 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 blah. And I often get curious. I used to think it was him just winding me up. But as we all know, nobody can create my feelings. It's my thoughts about what's happening that creates my feelings. So why is that? Why can he do something one day and it doesn't bother me, and he does exactly the same thing the next day or in a week's time and I take offence and I react in a certain way? And for me, that's all about where my state of mind is, where my thoughts are, the type of day I've had. Am I overtired? Am I overworking? Have I got too much on? That's the reason. So, when I started off this, I said that there's no such thing as a bad day. Your day doesn't create your mood creates your day. And I think if we can just bear that in mind a lot of the time, it just makes things less stressful for us. That it's all coming from the inside out. It's our thoughts about what's happening. My eldest son, not the one I was talking about bedtime. My eldest son doesn't have a bedtime, but he's doing a challenge. It started off as 100 miles in 100 days to raise money for 2 cancer charities. And as any good mother does, I got roped into doing it. He's now up to the ante for his, and he wants to do 100 miles during the month of April. So he's kind of running between 5 and 3 miles every day, running, I hasten to add. Whereas I'm walking 1 mile a day for 100 days. Sometimes I do a bit more, sometimes I just manage the one. But I take the dog out. There is a point to this. I take the dog out, and she's in the moment. She's a dog. I'm not swearing when I say this, but she's a jack shit because she's a cross between a Jack Russell and a Shih Tzu. That's what her breed is. But she weaves in front of me as she's walking. She's sniffing. She's in the moment. She's enjoying being out for a walk, and she kind of weaves in front of me. Sometimes I'm just out shooting the breeze and enjoying the walk. I usually have my ear pods in and I'm listening to an audible book about something deep and meaningful while we're walking. So I just slow down a little bit, let her walk in front of me. It's no big deal. Other days, she does exactly the same thing. She's weaving, across me, and I don't slow my pace down. And I can kind of kick her up the butt slightly to just get out of the way. And it can stress me out. And it was only the other day that we were on this walk that I started to question why does that bother me sometimes and it doesn't bother me on other days. And again, it all relates back to it's where my head is at the moment. If I'm enjoying the walk, if I've got time to do it in between clients, or I'm not thinking I've got to get back and make tea and I've got ironing to do and blah blah blah. If I'm just in the moment enjoying the walk, doesn't really matter how long it takes me. I'm in the process, I'm doing it for a reason, and I'm just enjoying it. So I'm not stressed by it. But if I'm taking on too much, if I've not given myself enough time, if I've got to get back because I've got my next client and dinner's not cooked yet, and what am I going to do? My temper isn't that good. I lose my temper, I get short tempered. Even trying to cross the road, if there's cars coming in, I've got to wait. I kind of get into my hurry up driver and I'm trying to do more stuff and fit more stuff in, which isn't very helpful. So just exploring Michael Neil's book and relating it to my own life, it kind of just makes it all come to life much more for me. It makes it easier to understand. I talk about state of mind and that it ebbs and flows. And sometimes I think what we try to do as human beings is to just narrow the bandwidth. We don't like the lows, and in not liking the lows, we kind of miss out on some of the highs, and we just want to be in that in betweeny bit where it feels safe and comfortable. But what we do when we're doing that is we're not enjoying the highs because we're trying to avoid the lows. But what if it was different? What if we didn't need to avoid any of them and we just needed to feel the feels when we had them? We don't need to overthink it. For me, it's trusting that when my mood is low, when my state of mind is low, that I trust that I'm going to come out of it and it's going to come up and I'm going to feel better. The same as I don't need to hang on to a good mood if it's starting to come down. So I don't tend to get as stressed about it now. And it's really refreshing when that's how you feel, just knowing that our state of mind fluctuates. That's what it's meant to do as human beings. We can't possibly be happy 100% of the time, same as we can't possibly be sad 100% of the time. Even when something, really bad happens to us, there will be times in that we laugh, that we smile. Sometimes we feel guilty if, my dad died coming up to 7 years ago now, and I can remember the day of his funeral coming back home and it being really quiet, and it was 3:15. I live near a primary school, and it was 3:15, and I could hear all the children coming out. It makes my hair stand on end even when I just think about it. And I could hear children laughing and talking, with the parents as they were walking down the street. And I can remember thinking, why is life just going on? Why do they not see how, people are no longer and things change? My life has changed forever, and why do they not see that? But I can smile about it now because that's quite a comforting thought, that even in our worst moments, life goes on. And I listen to the kids coming out of school every day now, and I don't really notice it. But on that one particular day, it really resonated with me that the world still turns. No matter what, the world still turns. And I trust that. I trust that, every year we have seasons. Winter comes and winter goes, and we have spring and summer. And I suppose it's a bit maybe deeper meaning if we're on a Friday Night Live. But yeah, even with COVID, it's been, horrendous 12 months for some people, but we will come out the other side. And, you know, going back to the original content of this, our mood doesn't dictate, how things are. It's knowing that it fluctuates. And, there's no such thing as a bad day. We can start off getting out of bed in the morning and think, I don't want to get up for work. We hit the snooze button so many times. But we can end the day on a real high, or it can happen the other way. We can jump up out of bed and, really want to smash on with the day. It's going to be brilliant. I don't know, you're getting up, you're going on holiday when we're allowed back on holiday. And, it can end the day where you feel a bit miserable. That's okay. That's how it works. And that's part of being a human being. So I just wanted to share that with you. But young people have a wonderful outlook on certain things. My son doesn't bother about anything. He's doing his GCSEs this year, and as it stands, they're being assessed. It's not how it's supposed to be. And a lot of children are impacted by what's going on at the moment. He doesn't appear to be. He openly says, "I'm not worried. Things don't worry me like that, Mum." And that's lovely. So who am I to say that what he's doing isn't right or wrong? He doesn't overthink things. He takes things on face value, and he doesn't overthink them. And sometimes I wish I could be more like that. So that's my little takeaway for tonight. One of the other things that Michael Neal says when I talk about thoughts creating our feelings is that our feelings are like a barometer, and they just let us know where our thoughts are. And again, that's quite a simple concept. Sometimes we try and shift our thoughts. Sometimes we try and not think bad stuff. Sometimes we try and think positively all the time. And apart from it's exhausting, we can't possibly do it. It's kind of like if I think good thoughts and have good things, then I'll be okay. And we can have good things and we will still have negative thoughts. We can't hang on to anything for any length of time. It's it's fluid. Everything is fluid. Our state of mind is, and it shifts and ebbs and flows. I could say depending on what's happening around us, but it's about our thoughts on what we're experiencing in that moment. And unfortunately, we have no control. We cannot control our environment. We cannot control the people around us. The only person that we have any control over is ourselves. And being able to harness that, being able to understand how our thoughts create our feelings, how, our mood shifts and ebbs and flows. We can't, nothing is static. And that's a good thing, because it's knowing that when it's bad, it's going to shift, but also understanding that when it's good, it's also going to shift, and everything moves. The seasons, it's a perfect example of it. The trees don't panic when they lose the leaves. They don't freak out. They don't suffer from anxiety thinking, oh my God, I've got to stand here for the rest of my life with no leaves. I'm presuming this is what trees think about. But they just trust the process. It happens every year, and it has done for, time immemorial, that things grow and shed and grow back again every year with the seasons. And I suppose you could think of us as human beings having seasons as well, the spring, summer, autumn and winter. So I shall end this little chat on that positive note. I hope it was positive. But so, if you listen to this, or next time you're out on a walk, or one of your kids is saying something to you, or even your mood has shifted and you've noticed it, just pay attention to, this has happened before and I was okay. This is happening now and I'm a bit short-tempered. What's that about? And just look at what's going on around you. Are you tired? Are you overworked? Are you overthinking things? What's going on for you that's making you react and respond differently to what you normally would do? And I shall be back next week. So speak to you all very soon. Take care.